I come to think of myself as above and beyond or as an addition to my body. So I say stuff like, I have a headache, or what am I going to do with my body because it is tired. I mean, we talk about, maybe we'll say I'm tired. I'll say, well, my body's really pooped out or something like this. We introduce some sort of division there. And touch, see, touch is absolutely crucial here. There has been a radical loss of touch, and I mean regular, steady physical contact in modern Western and particularly American cultures. People don't really touch each other that much, and I mean they're not in physical contact. Having your own room it's a historical anomaly. I mean, even that you can illustrate it. When you talk about the nonverbal, many people, when they say the nonverbal, they mean the visual. Whereas no, the nonverbal, I mean, it sometimes means the visual, but it means the somatic, the kinesthetic, the haptic, the way that physical manipulation and touch and contact are the way that we gain identity and confirmation. I mean, if you don't realize this dimension, try to think of your dog. You could say nice things to your dog all day long and you can go, oh, you're a good dog. After a while, you have to pet the dog. The dog doesn't understand your affection without some genuine physical contact and some petting. I don't know why we don't see ourselves the same way. I think we need physical contact. I think physical contact has been eroding. This is part of Berman's point, and it's leading to a kind of confiscation. As touch becomes more and more diminished, people, in recognizing themselves as an other for others, they identify with what he calls the body image. And the body image isn't the body as it's lived, as it's felt, as it's somatically and kinesthetically operated, sort of, the way you are a body. Instead, I start to try to, what he calls, heal the basic fault by identifying with the body image. And so my basic strategy then, or people's basic strategy, is once they have been confiscated and they have a kind of emptiness inside, they now try to cover that over or refill the gap or mend the wound by simply believing that they are as they're seen. And the reality of myself as an other for others and the way it can be, looked upon, that becomes a kind of a consumption where the person tries to get control of the view that others have of them, and they hope that that's going to regain the kind of deep felt identity that was lost, in the drift away from the somatic and the kinesthetic. Unfortunately, I guess we could all guess, it doesn't work. If it works at all, it works in bits and pieces, and it's never really complete. And so more and more people in our everyday world are losing the sense of what it means to be a body, and they're living in a world of what they imagine others see of them, and they're very interested in consuming information about how they think they're seen. So they love to see photos in Facebook of their friends, of them being with their friends, of comments on that. And so I think what's happening is people are more and more estranged, more isolated. They're yearning for a kind of community, but they're not going about it in the right way. The community that they're ending up finding is more focused on their own body image, that is, the sense of self that they think others see of them, right? They're trying to control or manipulate how they are the other for others. And Edmund Carpenter does fascinating work on cameras and what the photograph as just a technology, how it changed the way that we look at ourselves, how it changed the way we understand fashion, the way that we understand pose and expression and posture, all these kinds of things. It's hard to, I guess, say here in a really quick video the concerns about Facebook, but I guess I'll try to just round up this discussion off and say that, yeah, I think that people are using these new media technologies, oftentimes where they have to use their fingers and use gadgets and stuff. I think they're trying to recover some kind of sense of touch. I also think that many people, they have pets or children just because those are the few times when you can still come in contact and it's not kind of odd. I've even noticed it at the grocery store. There are people who, they want that divider between your stuff and their stuff. They don't even want your stuff to touch your stuff. That sense is very odd. But so there's a kind of general wholesale loss of physical contact in the culture. And Berman would say, how comfortable are you when silence occurs? Not does it occur, but when it occurs, how comfortable are you? If you're comfortable, his sense is you're somatically grounded. You're grounded in your body. People who are utterly uncomfortable with silence, especially among loved ones, family, friends, they're confiscated to such a degree that they believe that unless they're talking, they're not really in contact. Right? That's some sense of the bodily image, right? Of how we've been broken away from ourselves and now are trying to deal with what it means to be a person in terms of ideas, beliefs, of how those ideas and beliefs reflect upon us and how we will be seen having them or being known to be affiliated with them. Right? Again, it becomes a kind of fashion. So I think there is a real concern over the somatic and the kinesthetic, the haptic, of people are going to need to recover that. And there is a kind of community that comes from touch and solidarity of bodies that will never be able to be recovered by simply looking at or sharing ideas and that sort of stuff. Not to say that there isn't value in sharing ideas and beliefs in sort of YouTube, on Facebook, MySpace, these kinds of things. I think they can provide some forms of community. But the question is, what are people doing when they're on there? Are they trying to feel a common connection with people, or are they looking for some evidence of what they think other people think about them? It's as if people are becoming more and more strangers to themselves, and they spend time trying to find out who they are by way of what other people say about them and how other people are responding to them. But notice, all of that is the way that we're others for others. It's not the kinesthetic or somatic self. There's been a great dissolution of deep, rich community, of everyday contact and rhythms of people who are deeply in our lives that we could reach out and touch and actually come into intimate contact with, right? You hold a hand, you put an arm around a shoulder,